Namaskaram, everyone. I'm going to raise my voice because we don't have a mic system which is working well. So take a seat. Basically, next, the way today's program will be, it's about 30 to 45 minutes first segment. We're going to talk about science of Hinduism. What is the science behind Hinduism? And part two is the corpus of Hindu scriptures. Corpus means total number of books and scriptures what we have in Hinduism. So you are going to learn a lot of things today. It's a power-packed show and everything. It's experiencing Hinduism in your life. That's how it is going to be today's class. So participate as much as you can. Okay? So sit, relax. You don't need to do anything except. So if you are here and you want to learn something, right? This is honey. If I lick the bottle of honey, how many of you feel that I will taste the honey? Nobody, right? So for that, you have to open the... Exactly. So you have to open the lid. So you have to open the lid. So open the lid for your mind today as well. If you're sitting here 5,000 miles away from native India, somebody is talking about something which is your ancestor, your roots and everything, right? So first open that. And next what I'm showing you is, sorry, 3 types of pots are there. First is upside down pot, right? So if you want to drink with this pot, if you like this and you pour water, what will happen? All the water will go away. So if you are sitting with a closed mindset, you're not going to learn anything. Second, if you have a leaky pot, I give you information and you just say, idhar se aaya, idhar se gaya. You're not going to learn anything. So don't be a leaky pot. And if you come with a preconceived notion that, this guy is sitting here, maybe does he knows about Hinduism or not? So that's a doubts. Doubts means having some kind of dirty mind. Not dirt is the right word, but it's like, can you drink on this pot? No. So have a clear notion that let's give him a try, right? Give him a try. So basically you need to be a clean pot. That's how you should be today, right? Clean pot. So what we're going to do is, then when whatever you learn, you need to follow 3 paths, 3 things in here. Shravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasam. What that means in Vedanta, in Hindu philosophy, if you want to learn something, the first thing what you do, Shravan, in the class, open your ears, eyes towards me and Shravan, just listen it, okay? When you go home, Manan, reflection, oh, what he was talking about. And the last is, if you find something, you basically use that information in your life, experience it, okay? Shravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasam. With that, we are going to start this class. So today's class, what we are talking about here is science of Hinduism, okay? So let's start with how exactly all it started. The Big Bang, how many of you know Big Bang? You all have heard about Big Bang, right? What Big Bang says? Big Bang says the universe, how exactly it was created. There was a Big Bang. Before that, there was nothing, only there was a point energy. And thousands of years back, your ancestors, the rishis, they concluded it well before then. What they said, the entire universe comes from spanda, means there was nothingness. Before the universe existed, there was nothingness. This nothingness used to be called as spand, pure resonance. And from spand came the first voice called nad. Nad are the frequencies which human ear cannot intercept, means they are soundless sounds. So that is 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz range. Nad, when Nad became further manifested, the first word came in existence called Om. So Nad, first word which human can hear, what I'm saying after the creation of universe, which humans can hear is Om. And Om then got manifested in many, many languages. The first language was Sanskrit. And Sanskrit from their own, Sanskrit became manifested in many other languages. All the other languages came in existence. So universe, there was nothingness. Then Spanda, Spanda became Nad, soundless sounds. From Spanda came Om and then Sanskrit. So some of you should say, Rajbhai, you come from whatever land and you are giving us such a big lecture. You're claiming right now, I am claiming here, Om is the word, the first word. And every other language came from Om. So you should challenge me, prove it, right? If you are saying Om is that kind of complete word, can you prove it right here and right now? So what we are going to do today, from the very first minute, start an experiment, okay? All you need to do is participate with me on this. So how we will prove, if you think this human, the entire air column, what from lungs all the way up to up, what we are, when I'm speaking, the only sound humans can make is called ah. Imagine if you don't have tongue, what sound you will make if you don't have tongue? Take air and ah, right? And rest, everything is the manipulation of tongue. If tongue is like this, it's touching here, there, back, forth, everything. Rest, only sound you can make from your air column is ah, right? So if ah is the sound you can make, so I will make ah as well. And then you will follow with me, okay? Let me do this one time with you. Take deep breath in. Ah. Right? Very good. Or this time, follow my hand and you are closing your mouth, but only making sound ah. Okay? So close with this. Take a deep breath in. Ah. Okay, faster next time. Ah. Faster. Ah. Faster. Faster. This it became home. See, this is experiencing Hinduism right here. Om is a complete word. Now you will say Om. The other big claim what I did right there was, from Om came all the further language, which is Sanskrit. So Sanskrit has 52 alphabets, right? So how Sanskrit is manifesting like this? So before we go that, right now what I said to you, like if you want to know who am I, like what I am or what is this universe, the sound A, U, M. After that, whatever the silence is, that is universe. That will always there and that was before there. So Om, after Om and before Om is the nothingness, the silence. Now let's test about Sanskrit, right? I made another big claim. I said, you know, Om is a complete word and Sanskrit is one of the most scientific language. Okay, so let's understand. Sanskrit and Hindi, Devanagari is quite similar, 52 characters. So let's do this experiment. So see here, put your hand here, these two fingers right here, right there, okay? Just slight touch and say with me, ka, kha, ga, gha, ya. Can you feel it? Yeah, it's coming here. First row, right? Next, move this finger here. Okay? Second row. Cha, cha, ja, jha, ya. Can you feel it? Okay. Now, just here, somewhere here. Okay? You won't feel that much, but you will see. Watch the tongue, where exactly it's touching. Say with me. Ta, tha, da, dha, ada. Tongue is touching only at one place. Did you notice that? Okay. Now the sound is traveled from here, there, and further coming, right? So now we will do ta. See, no need to touch anything. Look at the tongue. Just pay attention to the tongue. Ta, tha, da, dha, na. Same sound coming from same place, right? And next, lips. Pa, pha, ba, bha, ma. So what I am asking you, think about how the sound is traveling from all the way from here. That's how your ancestor designed a language, not today. If you design this kind of language today, then it's a different story. This is, we're talking minimum 15,000 years back. This is the level of science there in our culture from the day one. So what I said to you, the first word is science and the language is science. You got that part? Everybody gets that part, right? So, and then if you want to vowels, if you want to practice vowels, you can also practice. Like say with me, see what will happen with tongue and mouth, they will just go back and forth. But only one motion. A, I, U, O, Au, Ang, Aha. See, tongue is not touching anywhere. This is the science, this is the beauty of this, okay? So this is where we talked about. So, if If Sanskrit and Om are the words and they have been like that, then who was discovering all of this? So this is basically the story of the religion called, all the religions, and one of them is our religion called Hinduism or Sanatan Dharma. So the question is, how old is Sanatan Dharma? Who can tell me? Okay, from this side, tell me, how old is it? Guess, how old is Hinduism? Religion. Anyone, anybody? Anyone from this side? Yes. See, she is a student of Gurukul, so she knows. Okay. What about anybody else? Can you imagine how old it is?
67th Manvantar Chaturayug. So it's infinity.
Infinity, right? So if you look at many times, right, we get confused. Many times we get confused about the world religions. Who is the oldest and living religion? So all you need to do is pay attention to this slide. We believe a minimum of 15,000 years back, Lord Shiva came into the Mount Kailasa. So 15,000 years back. 12209 BC. 12209 BC. Now the scientists, the Indologists like me and many other have researched. They have come to an exact pinpointed date. There is no question whether Ramayana or Mahabharata has taken place. The question is all about dates. So 12209 BC, the first book Ramayana was written here. Next comes, after that Ramayana comes Mahabharata, 5561 BC. That is the time frame, minimum 7,000 when Mahabharata took place. After that, the first, another religion came in existence called Zoroastrian faith, the Parsi faith, Iran where it is today, right? And after that came Judaism, what's the Israeli people, the Yahudis, 3500. Then comes the Jainism and Buddhism, same time frame, 2,500 years back. Then comes Christianity, 2,000 years. Then comes Islam, 1,400 years. Then comes Sikhism, 500 years back. Hinduism or Sanatan Dharma is the oldest living religion on the face of earth. Many other sects have come and disappeared, but Sanatan Dharma or Hinduism is there for thousands of years, and it will be there for another thousands of years, because Sanatan word means eternal, and you will learn a lot more in coming slides, okay? So this is the history, and if you look at the numbers, Christianity 2.4 billion, 30% of the world population. 1.9 billion is Islam, 24%. Hindus are 1.1 billion, 14%. So every seventh person on this planet is a Hindu. So many times people don't know the total number. That's what we are saying. Hinduism is the third largest religion on the face of earth. Okay. So the question is Hinduism science-based? Remember, I already started that with the Om and Sanskrit. But is it science-based? Let's start. Let's understand, right? We will throw some examples of science. The third avatar of Vishnu, called Varaha. And what is the story of Varaha avatar? From the Hiranyakashipu, when Hiranyakashipu was a demon king, he took the earth and take it to underneath the ocean. He wanted to drown. This is a kind of a story in a very different context. The most important thing in this to learn is that we call earth Bhu-Gol. Bhu means earth, Gol means round, right? And we call it Jagat. Jagat means the jiski gati hoti hai, the one which moves. So we knew, not today, a minimum we are saying 10,000 years back, we knew earth is round. We also know earth rotates on its axis, because the word Bhu-Gol. So in itself, it says how scientific we were in the nature. And when it rescues, the books clearly show earth as a round. The boar is lifting that, okay? So that is one example. Now the next one, right? So what happens, see this here, this mala. In this temple, we chant 108 times. We chant Om, right? Many times we chant Gayatri Mantra 108 times. Why 108? Why we are doing 108? So what happens if you look at the 108 example? Why we are, one is unity, emptiness is 0, infinity is shows like this, 108. So if I hold, say this here. If this is moon, this is earth. You take one moon and put another moon here, right there. Put another one, like that. If you do 108 moons, so you're starting your journey from moon, 108 times of its diameter, you reach earth. right? And from there, if you start the journey from here, sun, take 108 suns, you will reach Earth. You go inside the sun, you take 108 Earth, that is the diameter of it. So our rishis, our ancient rishis, they were so fascinated about this astronomy. They knew thousands of years back that the distance is 108 between them. And that's how they come up with this rosary mala 108 in it. This is the significance of 108, okay? So that's another example. Now, another one, how many of you seen Graha Puja, right? We do at home, Graha Puja we do. So Graha Puja means, Graha means planet, right? So why we are respecting planets? Why on Earth we are praying to Jupiter and Mars and Saturn, and why we are invoking them in our talks, right? So planets have impact on our life, and you will say, no, there is no impact, right? Okay, go to Dublin, we are in Malahide, go to the Port Monarch beach or Malahide beach. What you see 2 times a day? High tide, low tide. Why does high tide, low tide takes place? Who can tell me? Yes? Gravity. Gravity of who? Moon's gravity. This is elliptical, this is like a spherical in shape. When moon comes in contact during the day, it bulges and it pulls or retracts the water, right? So a moon which is so far away from us, 2/3 is water, earth, it is basically causing gravitational pull on the water, right? 2/3 water, right? Human body is also 2/3 water. A moon which has impact on the ocean, what makes you think moon will not have impact on your body? Right? But you guys are very smart. You will say, Rajbhai, you are throwing another claim like this. But where is the proof? Can you prove? Right? We can see the water comes and goes in the sea. Makes sense? Yeah, we see it. But what about us? Is there an impact on us as well? So let's prove it, right? So all the women who are sitting here, 29.5 days roughly is the menstrual cycle, right? 29.5 days it takes place. And what is the rotation of Earth around Sun? Moon around Earth is 29.5 days. Same, the day moon rotates more, 40 days, your cycle will become 40 days. So our rishis were so intelligent, they said that because women need extra care during this time frame, so they have embedded this whole concept of planet that if moon is going another phase now, you need to pay attention because for 4 days, women will have high-low emotions. You need to be careful around that, right? So this is the impact. Now, they didn't stop there as well. What they did, 29.5 days multiplied by 1008 becomes 82 years. 82 में 2 year they have added for error margin becomes 84. So 84 years is the average life of a human on this planet. So how scientific it is to remind them that you need to utilize this time what you are right now on this planet. They said people started saying their name Raj 1008. Reminding them constantly, I only have life of moon of 1008 cycle. One cycle is gone, 1007 left. Another cycle is gone, 1006 left. So this is the significance of 1008. See how the science is embedded with our culture all the time. Okay, let's continue our journey. This is one example, another example. Then comes another thing, very interesting, the astronomy. Our rishis were so big, like in ancient India, the science was part of culture. And how big it was, there is a book sitting here called Surya Siddhant. Let me find it. It was here somewhere. Maybe not. Okay, that's fine. So we will talk about it, Surya Siddhant. So this book is written, a minimum, Western philosopher believe, which we don't. Basically, these days, more research is going on. They say 1500, 500 CE. 500 CE, they are talking about. This is the book of ancient astronomy written by Hindus. What you are finding, we believe this is at a minimum 3000 years old. But more research is going on. They are saying at a minimum 15,000 years ago. If you forget what we are saying, whoever is saying, only pay attention 1500 years back, which is the Western world is talking about. So 1500 years back, your ancestors have calculated the diameter, Diameter is basically, if this is Earth, how go around, right? Like that. So from here to here, straight, if you make a hole, how fast you can go there? What is the distance? That is diameter. Diameter of these planets, see how close they are. 3008, 3032, 8022, 7523, within 5 to 10% margin. That's not only it. Basically, they also calculated average length of the tropical year, 365.2421, and this is 1.4 seconds. That is the difference there. And distance between moon and earth was 250,000 kilometers. Modern science says 221 to 252. They were like within 5% close. Can you believe this? There is no telescope, there is nothing there, but they developed their own intuition 1500 years back. And when the Western world came to know about astronomy, 1610, when Galileo come to know that Earth is round, and there was a battle again, people didn't believe, right? Earth rotates around sun, and a lot of people wanted to kill that gentleman, Galileo. And our rishis 1500 years back, minimum I'm saying, we believe 3000 to more, they knew all about the planets, their diameter, their distance from here to sun and everything. Astronomy was so big in India that they embedded everything into the culture. So this particular book called Surya Siddhanta have so many things, chapters talking about the whole planetary system and everything, okay? So another example of that will be, how many of you know Ganga Snan? You know, we do Ganga Snan. Ganga Snan we do, right? Ganga Snan means there is a Kumbh Mela, right? There is a Kumbh Mela takes place. How many years? Can anybody remember how many years? What is the cycle of? 12 years. Why 12? Why 12? Exactly. See, so Brihaspati, the Jupiter, it follows the cycle of Jupiter. Imagine if you just think, right, if you want to calculate the cycle of Jupiter for 12 years, one rishi is sitting there observing its cycle, not only one time, multiple times. So for him to calculate that, he must have sat there observation for decades before he calculates. Then many other came, they verified it. So we are following Jupiter's cycle not today, from the Yudhishthir time, 5,000 years back. So we know the cycle of Jupiter like that. And another interesting thing about this whole thing, if you look at the Surya Siddhanta astronomical calculation about the Earth and everything, the Venus, like, you know, the time, their cycle, how long it takes, they come around 5% accuracy. 5% accuracy. And now you will say, you know, another book comes, Vaisheshika Sutra. This is the Vaisheshika Sutra. My Gotra is Kashyap and Kanad is the Rishi. Kan means particle and Kan means the person who is studying the particles. So Kanad Rishi developed this first book of the first atomic theory. Is not Dalton. This is 2006 years back. At a minimum, we are believing. Law of motion, law of gravity, creation of universe, theory of consciousness, mind and matter, what is time, rain making, yoga, moksha and knowledge, everything, anu, parmanu, molecules. He's talking about everything on this. And what is interesting, Newton's first and third law is written as it is on this book, as it is. Second law, you can come say, like, you know, little bit closer, but you can debate about it. So Vaisheshika Sutra, just one book of physics there, talking about theory of atom and everything they have already talked about. Not today, minimum 2300 to 2006 years back. And you will say, how do you apply this knowledge? How do you apply this knowledge? And they didn't stop just by discovering this. They found ways to embed science in our basically life. So how did they use this science? Okay, so you may have seen in southern India, there is something called Arundhati Vashishta, right? Have you heard that husband and wife, when they get married, they both are asked in the evening, go and look at the star system called Arundhati Vashishta, right? So why do we do it? So for that, I need volunteer. Husband and wife specifically here. Who can come here? Yes, please. Yes, come. Normally what happens, aap log na is taraf aa jao, then you can see everything. Come this way, we have the place, like sit there and sit there. Okay, come here. So we are going to do is, right, in a normal house, what happens? Sit here, right here. Abhi, what I will say, you need to follow. Abhi aapke ghar mein kya hota, I don't know. Maybe you are following her, so follow. Right? Right? You just take, right? हस्बैंड जो है, नॉर्मली व्हाट हैपेंस इन ए हाउस, हस्बैंड फॉलोज द वाइफ और वाइफ फॉलोज द हस्बैंड. यही तो होता है ना, आदमी पत्नी के चक्कर में पड़ गया या पत्नी पति के चक्कर में पड़ती है. एक घर में एक डोमिनेटेड होता है कि नहीं है?
वो सिर्फ शादी से पहले होता है.
हाँ देखो, फिर उसके बाद तो डोमिनेशन पत्नी का हो जाता है. यस, बट our rishis come up with really unique thing. After the marriage, they are saying, look at the Arundhati Vashishta. Why look at the Arundhati Vashishta? In Ursa Major, there is a star system called this Arundhati Vashishta. This Arundhati Vashishta is a very twin star together. But when you look at closely, they are two stars separate. And their motion is unique. So their motion is, so come here. So hold her hand like this, right? No, हाँ, यहाँ से पकड़ो. हाँ, अब बचपन में खेला है. हाँ हाँ, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. Show her, show everybody. अब मुझे बताओ, who is following who? Who is following who? Both are following each other, right? Right? See, this is the beauty of our ancient rishis. They come up with, don't follow, you don't follow this, you don't follow that. Arundhati Vashishta, you are saying follow each other. 50-50. See how the science is applied in daily life in our ancient time. This is the, thank you so much. Give them a round of applause. Ab, let's continue on this journey, okay? So, India's scientific tradition, the science of India is not today. Thousands and thousands of years. We are a civilizational state. We are not just another country. We are the oldest living civilization on the face of earth. There is, you will see a lot more. So, if you look at our tradition of science, India has over 10,000 years of scientific discovery. Modern world starts with the Galileo 1610, only 400 years scientific tradition. That's all they have. And a lot of concept, when you go back and there is so much research going on, over half of the concept, they are basically coming from Indian knowledge system. So there is IKS is something called, we are developing, in India is developing a lot about this Indic knowledge system, Indian knowledge system. It's not about proving your superiority of anybody. No, it's about basically claiming what you have and also educating the mass that our tradition is science-based, because all the fights which are happening today in the world because of the blind faith, because you need to believe. In Sanatan Dharma, in Hinduism, there is no such thing called believe. 80% of our scriptures are basically question and answer. Question to the level 585 answers and 85 questions in this book called Bhagavad Gita. The holy book of Hinduism is a question and answer. And he even challenged, Krishna even, Arjuna even challenged the Krishna saying, who the hell are you? Who are you? So then he explains the Das Avatar concept and everything in it. So this is our tradition there. So how big our tradition was, the world's first university called Takshila, that was built already 800 BC. It lasted for almost 1,000 years. 10,000 students used to study there, 2,000 teachers. And it talked about Vedas, grammar, agriculture, astronomy, astrology, dance, music, philosophy. Many alumni like Panini and Chanakya, they were students of this. They wrote, Chanakya wrote the first constitution of the world, politics, the Arthasastra, and Chanakya Niti. This is the first university which was established, lasted for 1,000 years. Then comes the second university. The second international university was Nalanda in Bihar. It again lasted almost for 800 to 900 years. This was established around 500 CE time frame, lasted around 1200 CE. When Nalanda was burning down by the Turkish ruler Bakhtiyar Khilji, he burned down, 9 million books were just burned like that. Oxford was coming here. That time, when Nalanda was going down, Oxford was building that time in 12th century. Our scientist called Susruta, the first plastic surgeon of the world, he discovered diseases for 1100 diseases. Susrut Samhita. There are 3 books like that. I'm holding right in my hand, right? Susrut Samhita. Susruta, first plastic surgeon, 26 types of fever, 101 types of surgical instrument. They are still used even today. Half of the instrument what he developed are today is still used like that. The first plastic surgeon is there. Then comes Charak is another scientist, Charak Samhita. Charak is another scientist who was like called father of medicine. Then Ashtang Hridayam, like another book on Ayurveda originates in India, the first branch of medicine. Even today, thousands and thousands of doctors are there in India who are following Ayurveda, a remedy which is basically not based on the, the modern like allopathy and all that, okay? You look at the Indian discoveries, there is no end to Indian discoveries. You just keep reading about just for games, right? Who believe badminton was invented in India, like suit game, table tennis, Vajra Musti, carom, all of that. Then you look at discoveries around metallurgy, diamond drills, dockyard, lost waxes, stone wave, woods, all like endless. The major one of them were discovery of pi, discovery of zero, discovery of infinity, discovery of binary number system, normal number system, ruler, weighing scale, algebra, calculus, trigonometry, calculation of sphere, length of arc, chord, permutation combination, astrophysics, astronomy, astrology. Keep going. Mark Twain is one of the most famous philosopher in US, in America. He gave the best credit to India. He says, human mind cannot even imagine even today what ancient Indians have discovered. That is the level of credit we have got from Mark Twain. So this is the level we have explored. Indian scientists, how many of you know, we are reading, it's always anybody who discovers, whether you are in Western world or any world, scientists need to be respected. But your own scientists, just look at the list of mathematicians. The mathematician, the physician, the astrologer, the endless list. You can easily pick 1,000 of them. That is the level. But we haven't read them. We haven't done anything about them, right? We have left this behind. Then comes the modern science and how it's coupled together. Modern science versus us, how exactly it's joined together. You look at the quantum mechanics, what you call today, the study of particle at the very bottom, at the level of submicron level, called quantum physics, right? Quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics, the three founder of quantum mechanics is Niels Bohr, Schrödinger and Heisenberg. All of three were the follower of Vedanta. This is the book called Vedanta, the Upanishad, what we call. 120 plus 108 principal Upanishads. The Vedanta, the philosophy, we'll talk about that in the second part of this talk. They were all followers. Even Niels Bohr clearly says in his quote, you can Google it, I don't tell you anything which is not proven, which is not available. Everything is with we are a researcher, so everything is with a reference. What he says, I go into Upanishad to ask question. What are Upanishads? These are the Upanishads. These are the books, right? Then Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, we already discovered it, and which was part of it. Then comes recently Oppenheimer movie. Some of you have seen the Oppenheimer, right? Oppenheimer quotes the Bhagavad Gita verse, Divisuri Sahasrasya Bhavet Yugpad Uttita Yadi Bhaha Sudrasi Sashat Bhasa Tasya Mahatmana. He quotes that particular verse right there, chapter 11, 12 of Bhagavad Gita. What he is talking about, when he exploded the atom bomb, first time when it exploded, humanity never seen that level of energy. So how do you compare, right? If you haven't seen that level of energy, how do you give? Then he says, he gives the reference to this Bhagavad Gita. He says, when Arjun asked, questioned Krishna that who are you? Then Krishna says, do you really want to see me? He says, yes. So then he shows his own roop, Dasavatar roop there, form. And then he says the explanation is like that. It seems the Krishna's form was millions and millions of suns are blowing in the sky, illuminating the sky. That is the level of energy. So that's why he compares. Oppenheimer says that is the level of energy we are seeing today. I quote the Bhagavad Gita in which the Lord Vishnu or Krishna, the avatar of Vishnu, quotes this one. So this is the level of we have already done in our science, right? Now comes the history of Nikola Tesla and Vivekananda. Tesla was, a very interesting story is there. Basically, Vivekananda used to go and watch a kind of there was a play, Sarah Benedict, she was doing the play, and in this play, he saw that lady, she was just playing a character of Buddha, which seduces the Buddha. Vivekanand was sitting in the audience and she saw this is really good guy sitting here and she has heard the lecture. So she introduces Tesla and Vivekanand together. They both talked, not only one time, multiple times, so many times. And Viveka and Tesla became very good friends. And then Tesla used to explore the Vedantic philosophy, again the Vedas and the Upanishads. So some of you haven't even read the Vivekanand's life history. So this is the book called 9-volume set of Vivekanand's original work. This is a must-have book at your home. If you want to give one book to your kids, this is the book you want to give. Order from Amazon, 9 set of volume, 9 books. They will know about your culture, your religion, and in a modern way, not like, blind faith way. So this is the book called Vivekanand's. So Vivekanand and Tesla's story right there. Next comes Rabindranath Tagore. Sorry, the picture is wrong there. Rabindranath Tagore and Einstein, they met in 1931. 1931 they met, and Tagore is the greatest poet of India basically. He is the only, he was I think first Nobel laureate from India. They both are talking about Vedantic philosophy again, Indian philosophy, what it is. So Einstein was very much influenced with that as well. So Einstein and Rabindranath Tagore had this. And we live in Ireland. The most interesting thing in Ireland, you say, Rajbhai, you're talking about those things, good. We live in Ireland. Is there a connection to Ireland as well or not? So who is the biggest poet in Ireland? Can somebody give me one name? Who? Anyone? Irish poet. Who is the biggest poet? Huh? Before that? Who said that? Yeats, right? Yeats is the biggest Irish philosopher. Guess what? Yeats goes in Purohit Swami. This is the gentleman there. Yeats were always interested about India, right? When he was writing all about India. So he says, I want to learn about India. Later on in his life, he became ill. So he could not go. So luckily, he found this guy called Purohit Swami. Purohit Swami and Yeats spent 1 year together in Majorca. And what they write? They write the translation of Upanishads. Translation of Upanishad. And this book comes in existence called 10 Upanishad. So this is the Eastern philosophy. In this book, Yeats questions, he says, if you look at the Ireland before 4th century, the advent of Christianity, what we were. We need to question that. We need to at least find our roots. And then he says, if we look at that, I find the Eastern wisdom is quite similar, which is the pagan culture here, quite similar. He just questions that. But the interesting thing is, Yeats writes this book, and who gives this present? This book was not known to anybody until recently, around last year, when Prime Minister Modi meets Joe Biden in the White House, he presents this book. Why does he present this book? Because Joe Biden comes from Ireland. He has Irish root. So he presents this book to him, and then this book became very famous. Read this book. It's available in Google as well. So this is the story of Purohit Swami meeting W.B. Yeats, one of the. So what we are doing is, in this particular eYogi Gurukul, where I am giving you all this information, this particular organization is all about science and spirituality, connecting the two dots of it. Any question you can think of, the question what your kids have right now in their mind, why I am wearing this kalawa, why I am doing this tilak, all these questions, why do we have so many gods and goddesses, why do we have a reincarnation, 5 qualities of a student, why do we do sinduram, vermilion here? We are tracing the roots in science. Every ritual we trace what is the science behind, what is the logic behind, what is the rationality behind all of them. And what is interesting that you pick anything, any rites and rituals, any practices of Sanatana Dharma of Hinduism, there is a deep logic, there is a deep connection with science there. The only reason people have forgotten the science, so they are saying, ye to blind faith hai, why we are following it? So my take is, don't discard your tradition. Try to find if there is a logic, if there is a rational, if there is science. Then you discard it. You say, you know what, it doesn't have any logic, it's okay. But first thing is you need to. And what is interesting that nowadays with the advent of technology, if you start investigating, you will find science and science everywhere in the Hinduism, in the Sanatana Dharma. So this is the power packed first half of this. Now we will go into the Aarti, and after that second half, stay here. It's going to be even more interesting.